17 years old, I started in a call center, my first technology sales job, I suppose you could say. If making cold calls for Charter Cable counts, which is what I did back then through a third-party agency. So I was that guy calling you around 5:30, 6:30 p.m. while you were having dinner, trying to convince you that you needed to upgrade to the triple play bundle with phone, cable, and internet. And nobody liked me. It was a terrible job, but it turned out that I was pretty okay at it, and I made some money. Which in southern rural Minnesota was, I mean, it was that or stock yogurts or work on a farm, which I've done all three of those jobs. And I made best money when I was on the phones. And so that's kind of how I put myself through college and grad school, was in call center jobs, usually in some kind of technology capacity. The first time I sold a DVR, I didn't even know what it was.
Wow.
That was the first domino in a series of dominoes. Go ahead.
How did that go? You were on some Wolf of Wall Street shit and just with the good vibes. This is the piece of technology that's gonna
literally it was
revolutionize your TV watching experience.
So when companies like Charter, or now Spectrum, outsource calling campaigns to third parties, they give tremendous restrictions around what agents can and cannot say. So I'm at the time I was 17 years old. I might have been even younger than that. I'm sitting in this little gray cubicle.
Yeah.
And the cubicles do not extend past the front of the desk. So there's a wall of telemarketers this way to my right and to my left. I've got like this old gross IBM screen in front of me and this cheap plastic headset. And I'd lean in because you couldn't hear because it was so loud in that strip mall office where I was making these calls.
Right.
And then there'd be this beep in my headset and this script would flash up on the screen. And there were portions of the script that we were required by our client, whether it be DirecTV, Dish Network, or Comcast. I mostly called for Charter. But you had to say certain sections word for word. Like, hey, this is Jonathan calling on behalf of Charter. This call may be recorded for calling for quality purposes, whatever, all that BS that you've probably heard a million times every time you've called a customer support line. When I was a teenager, I had to say that stuff. Then below that, there were portions of like the sales script that needed to be said. Others were bullet points that could be interwoven however you wanted, but you were kind of expected to at least mention these key points. And usually they were like features of whatever product or service you were selling, and then perhaps a corresponding benefit to that feature. So the first time I saw a DVR script, I was literally days old on the call floor.
Oh, shit.
And I'd gotten very high level training in the crappy office in the back room on like, all right, here's the campaign, here's the script, here's what you do, here's what you don't do, here's your desk, here's your headset. Wait for the beep and then start talking. So yeah, I mean, I read the text.
Script was good enough to get it into the hoop.
Yeah, and then after your first couple, you just kind of like figure it out, and then people start asking you questions, and then you kind of feel like an idiot, like they're asking you basic questions you should know if you knew what a DVR was. So it only takes a few like people laughing at certain answers you give them before you're like, oh, I think I understand what a DVR doesn't do now.
Yeah. Context clues with it.